We were gonna do this stream initially last week on the 11th, but I ended up having car trouble last week, and that took like not just one day. It took Tuesday, but it took Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday for me to actually get back up and running with that. So obviously, some of you could probably relate to that. Dealing with car troubles. If you own a car, you're gonna have troubles with it. Unfortunately, that's what I went through last week. So instead of just completely null and voiding this topic today, I wanted to push it back. So what I did was I moved what was this week's topic? I moved that to a later date, and we're just gonna pick right up with this topic that I had for last week, and that is discussing selling beats online, specifically platforms where you can sell your beats in 2025. So this one's specifically for producers, either people that have been making music for a while, producing, you're looking to sell your beats this year. Even though I know we're a few months in already, so if you're just looking to sell beats, in the coming months or before the end of the year, this could be something that will help you out. I get asked a lot of questions on, where I sell beats. And before we kind of get into it, I'll kind of give my experience with selling beats. I really started around 2018 was really when I started to send beats out to artists and try to get money for it, and didn't really get a lot. I sold my first beat to an artist named Netherina Noble in 2019, so like a little bit after I started kind of pursuing it. And that was, I would honestly credit her for being the first person that really invested in my music and actually paid me for my work. I don't remember how much it was. That was 6 years ago at this point, but that was someone that I just met through networking on Instagram at the time, and we had a discussion, and she ended up enjoying the song. It's a song called "Alone Together." Definitely check that out. It's like my first big song that I did for anybody. But yeah, I'd say that was kind of where selling beats began for me. But at that time, I also had a SoundClick page where you could go download MP3s for like 99 cents of my beats, and that page I think is still up. I never deleted that page, so it's somewhere out there. I bet you if you Google it, you could find it. But that's kind of where I started, and then it wasn't until 2020 when I moved over to BeatStars, which is obviously one of the most popular places to sell beats on the internet. And I've been there ever since, and I've uploaded a track every day for 5.5 years at this point, or almost 5 years. I think it'll be 5 years in October. So almost 5 years, but a pretty long time, staying consistent. And I wouldn't say I've seen huge success, but I've definitely seen a lot of growth from where I started in 2020, and connected with a lot of cool artists through that platform. It's been something that has opened some doors for sure. I'm not going to give it credit for opening a lot of doors because I still tend to do a lot on my own and network with artists on my own. But I always view BeatStars as kind of a platform where I can go and it can help open doors that I might not be able to think about opening. So it's just an extra tool in the arsenal. And that's really how I view any of the platforms where you're able to sell beats. They shouldn't be your primary source of income. They shouldn't be something that's your only focus. But you can add that to your repertoire, and it could be something that can help you out a lot and create passive income for you. I can't tell you how many times in the last 7 or 8 months, I'll just wake up the next day. I made music the night before. I wake up the next day and I have a sale from someone, even if they only bought the beat for I have a bunch of different license types. Let's say they bought the beat for the lowest point, which is like $10 for the MP3. It's like, I just made money while I slept. Regardless of how much it is, you gotta admit that's pretty cool when you can wake up and you're not even doing anything actively, but you're getting that passive income. And that's what these platforms allow you to do, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go through that today. I'm going to give you some of the platforms that you might be familiar with, some of the ones you might not be familiar with, and 3 articles once again. I found Tone Island, Loop Lib article, and Lander blog, who we've talked about before. We've had, articles from them before. I have a lot of allergies going on, so I'll be clearing my throat a lot, and of course I forgot water. So don't mind me, but I'll try to get through this the best I can. We're going to be going over the Tone Island article on the stream today. And this one is called The 12 Best Websites to Sell Beats Online in 2025, Sell Instrumentals, and More. So these are 12 that, again, you might be familiar with some, you might not be familiar with all of them, but I wanted to give you something that had a lot of options, because off the top of my head, I could only think of like a few that I knew, which were Airbit, BeatStars, and what was the other one? I feel like there was one more that I thought of. It might be in this article. We'll get to it. But I wanted something that gave you a lot more options. And that's what I feel like this one does for sure. Wondering where to sell beats online? We've got you covered. If you're a talented music producer, you can potentially make thousands of dollars per month selling your audio creations to rappers, corporations, and other artists. In this post, we'll be helping you get started by reviewing the best websites to sell beats on. Just said online. I was reading it as online, but on doesn't make sense. We've made sure to include a good mix of platforms with different target markets, commission structures, etc. So you should be able to find something that fits your needs on this list. Plus, if you stick around until the end, we'll also be answering some of the frequently asked questions about selling beats online. I probably won't read the FAQ section. I don't know. We'll see. But I just want to, cover the bases here first. Number 1, they have as your own website. So obviously not any third-party platform, but just creating a website. I'm not going to read what they put, but they pretty much discuss it in general. I mean, you know what that means. You can create a website on Wix. You can do Bandzoogle. You can do, GoDaddy. There's a ton of website building platforms. I've never been a huge person on doing your own website because I feel like social media can get the job done. I'm more of an email list person where I can control everything from one central hub. So I've never really had a website for my own brand. We've had the website for the Proven Knowledge brand in the past. It is pricey. It is expensive to upkeep your own website. I'd say it's a worthy investment. As far as building a beat selling platform on there, in my opinion, it's better to go with third-party people because they set it up and the way that they design it is already structured so you can get right in and start selling. You don't have to build, an MP3 player, attach PayPal, attach all these other things, and build it and make it look visually good. I feel like if you go with the third-party people, they did the legwork for you, so you really don't have to do all that extra effort. But it's up to you. If you feel like you want to go through that whole process of building your own store and make it look visually interesting to you, go ahead. And even if you already have an existing website, you can even just add like a widget or any type of little box on your homepage where you can have that option to sell stuff, even if it's not the full page or a full website of just that. So, I don't know, to each their own. That's not really me. I would rather pay somebody to do that extra work for me, and then I can just jump right in and sell my stuff. That's just how I view it. Because like I said, I don't view this as your main source of income, your only source of income. This is just a part of the full wheel of your spectrum of producing and working with people, etc. So that's the first one. Number 2 is Airbit. Well, I mentioned earlier, Airbit is one of the most popular beat marketplaces in the world. With over 800,000 users, there's no shortage of competition. But if you can cut through the noise, you can tap into the platform's huge customer base and collect your share of the $45 million that Airbit produces each year. Over 2 million beats have been sold on Airbit to date to thousands of artists, including some huge names in the industry like Eminem, Beyonce, the Migos, and Wiz Khalifa. It's super easy to start selling on Airbit. Just upload your beats, choose your prices, and how you want to get paid and start earning. I'm not going to read they give a full breakdown of every single one. A lot of these are going to be repeats, so we're not going to go through all that. I might read like the first couple sentences of the paragraph, but to kind of give a breakdown, I will give the prices though. It says you can upload 10 beats with a free basic account or upgrade to Platinum for $8 a month to upload and sell unlimited beats. When you upgrade, you also get $100 worth of promo credit, which you can use to promote your beats on the platform and drive sales. Airbit I think it should say does take a cut for marketplace sales. The exact percentage depends on whether you grant them an exclusive or non-exclusive license and the type of account you have. See their website for more details. I've definitely heard a lot of good things about Airbit. Airgigs is a real website, by the way. I have an Airgigs account. It's basically where you go and you get hired for musician work. Not what we're talking about today. Airbit, though, I definitely heard good things. Adam Ivy, who I've learned a lot from, who taught me a lot about music marketing, he would swear by Airbit. I don't know if he still does, but a lot of like the things he would talk about in his videos were talking about selling beats on Airbit. And I think he had done that in the past as well when he was really heavy on producing his own stuff. So yeah, I don't have any experience with it. It kind of was on my radar when I was looking at platforms to use to start selling beats, but I just never really got into researching it or experimenting with the platform. But definitely check it out because, like I said, I've heard good things. It kind of runs similarly to BeatStars with the promo credit thing because I'm familiar with that. And that's something that a lot of these platforms started rolling out in the last couple years where, some of them will even give you free credits during the month for you to promote your work. Otherwise, you pay into being able to promote it on, their homepage, or you can create custom leads to be able to draw in certain types of people. And I'll talk more about that when we get to the BeatStars section here because I kind of want to give you guys a little insight there. Number 3 is Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle is the audio branch of Envato Market, one of the biggest marketplaces for digital products in the world. What's cool about selling on Audio Jungle is that you can sell any type of audio file, not just beats, but also things like music packs, sound effects, audio logos, and more. Like Airbit, it has a huge customer base and great discoverability, which means you don't have to put in as much effort into marketing your tracks as you would if you chose to sell through your own website. If I'm not mistaken, Audio Jungle has been around for a while. Probably, I would say the mid to early 2000s, somewhere in there. Like around the time LimeWire and all that stuff was popular. I feel like Audio Jungle came not too far after that. I could be wrong, but they are a much older platform. But they're still around and they've still evolved, kind of fit the modern landscape a little bit. But I'm pretty sure people have been selling ringtones and sound effects on there for years. To me, it's not the most ideal place to sell beats in the traditional sense of like you're a producer and you're trying to get your tracks out there. If you want to set it up maybe as an extra one, like an extra store that maybe you could get discovered on, why not? To me, it's not really the traditional modern beat selling platform, but I've heard the name many times and I'm familiar with it, so I think it's hard to deny that it at least has some, it has something to stand on, has legs to stand on, just from its name and its likeness. So yeah, definitely try to look into that one if that's something that sounds good to you. Number 4 is Premium Beat. Premium Beat is an online music library where artists can sell beats. It's owned by the same company behind Shutterstock. Oh, Shutterstock. Man. It's been a week, guys. You can just bear with me here. The uber popular stock image marketplace. When you sell on a Premium Beat, you tap into Shutterstock's stellar reputation and huge user base. Anyone can submit their beats to the Premium Beat library as long as you meet 3 conditions. Number 1, your beats must be 100% original. You must own and control the copyright of both the composition and master recording. Number 2, your beats must be free of any third-party rights. So I assume that means samples, anything that you can't clear on your own or have permission to use, probably frowned upon. And number 3, you must be willing to make your beats exclusively available to Premium Beat, meaning you can't upload anywhere else. They would be the exclusive hosting site of your tracks. So whatever track you upload there, you can't put it on YouTube. You can't put it on any other beat selling platform. That kind of sucks in my opinion. I don't really like that, especially when it's not a sync related thing. I think, with sync libraries, that sort of thing makes more sense. When it comes to selling beats to artists, I feel like you need to kind of be on multiple platforms. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I've also never heard of this. I didn't know that Shutterstock had anything going on with music. But I assume that, it doesn't have prices or anything listed. But I assume that you would have to sign up for Shutterstock, like have a subscription, and that would give you access to all their services. But maybe they have one that's specifically for this Premium Beat library. So definitely look into it. To me, that doesn't sound appealing because of the exclusivity of it. But maybe it's something to try out just to see how the user interface is, how the selling goes from, your perspective of trying to sell to an artist. Can you market well on that platform? Can you present it very well? That's some things I would look at. But the exclusivity thing, to me, that's something that is, you're either going to really not care or you will. I personally do care. I think that that's not right. But to each their own. Again, to each their own. So just do your research on that one. Number 5 is BeatStars, which is the one I've used, like I said, for 5 years. To me, it's still the best one. It says BeatStars is another great website to sell beats online. It's similar to Airbit in terms of popularity. Seems to be a little less competitive. I'd argue that. I don't know. Creators on BeatStars have sold over 1.3 million digital products and earned over 100 million to date. You can sell up to 10 tracks on BeatStars for free or upgrade to a paid membership to sell unlimited tracks and unlock premium features. Paid subscribers enjoy 0 commission fees, but free users are subject to 30% fees on their earnings. You can also use BeatStars as a distribution platform to release your beats and earn music from download and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, yada yada yada. So some of these features they've rolled out in the last few years. I don't use the publishing or the distribution side for BeatStars. They push those super heavy now, where they basically try to make the platform now where you have everything under one roof. And it makes sense for them, for their business model, because they can charge more per producer to say, hey, we want you to not only sell beats with us, we want you to get your publishing for all your tracks out there. We want you to release your own music with us. We want you to sell your pro kits, which are your sound packs and sample kits and all that stuff. Sell it all on our platform. So they did a genius thing where they realized that they could diversify, what they were offering to their customers. I don't have any experience with any of those other ones. I only sell beats on BeatStars. Everything else I do on other platforms. Because I don't personally believe in having everything under one roof. And I'll tell you why, specifically for BeatStars, I would never do this. BeatStars has a lot of technical issues, and they know they do. So, like, me saying this on this video is not going to give me any heat. BeatStars knows that they have a lot of technical issues, and it's because of the amount of traffic that their website has. Um, I'd be willing to say that probably at least once a month, I have at least one day, maybe 2 days, where I literally can't do anything on the platform. Like I can't upload the way I'm supposed to. I type in metadata, it gets wiped out. I have to refresh, do all this stuff. Um, and from what I've read, I've researched this a lot in the last year or so. It's from the amount of people on their platform, and it is millions of people. So, like when it's said there's not as much competition as Airbit, I'd argue there is at this point because it is just as popular. Now, I'd say BeatStars is a little less diverse as far as sounds go. I'd say it's mostly hip hop producers, and then it's R&B a little bit. Like I'm currently focusing mostly on R&B over there because I feel like everybody's doing trap, everybody's doing, certain types of hip hop tracks. Um, so like I've tried to find my lane doing more melodic R&B softer stuff, a little bit of hip hop stuff, but not a ton. Um, but I don't know, it's just there are technical issues with that platform, and I know they're trying to work it out day by day, year by year, and get it better. But that is something to keep in mind, something I've experienced. I don't think it's a deal breaker personally, because like I said, it doesn't happen every day, but every so often, you'll get some issues. You'll have to maybe come back and try your uploads later, or just wait for them to kind of figure out what issues they've been having. They usually do a good job of updating the users as well on they're experiencing technical difficulties. They'll be back up and running whenever. So they usually do a good job at that. Like I said earlier, they have, the pro kit, or not the pro kits, the credits that they give you where you can promote tracks, you can promote your page, set up a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to go into every little detail, but overall, I mean, to me, it is worth it. I pay for the pro page. I forget how much I pay per year. I have it set up annually, not monthly. So I always forget, but usually it rolls around toward the latter half of the year. It's not too much. And again, I think the more consistent you are with uploading and the more you can kind of find your audience, you'll have a much better shot of actually getting some sales, and eventually, get to the point where you're making back what you're paying into it anyway. So to me, for the traffic alone, and if you are more of a hip hop based, maybe R&B based producer, BeatStars is probably the way to go. Just be aware that there are technical issues, but any of these platforms on occasion are going to have technical issues. I feel like the reason BeatStars does, though, is because the volume of people that are on it, because of its popularity. So just keep that in mind, but overall, I think BeatStars does a pretty good job. I wish they would, make their app a little bit more like a social media app where you could interact with artists. They have a big bot problem as well. There's a lot of bot pages, a lot of fake accounts trying to, scam people, reach out to people, and take their accounts. And so you got to be mindful, just like you are on any other platform. I don't know. There's still certain things I wish were better, but overall, I can't really complain about what I've been able to do on BeatStars. And like I said, I've met some great artists on there too, who I haven't even, found. These people are finding me just based on the metadata I use in my tracks and just the style of tracks I'm putting up. So there's a lot of power in doing that and using that platform for sure. I'd say in the last 3 years alone, I've met at least 5 or 6 artists through BeatStars, and then I build that relationship to be able to work with them outside the platform. So again, it's just it'll open doors. If you want something that can help you open some more doors, then you're already opening on your own. I don't see why it's a bad thing overall. Next up, we have Bandcamp, which obviously we all know. Well, maybe not all of us, but we all know that Bandcamp is big with giving artists the full revenue, or not the full revenue, but the majority of revenue on their music. A lot of people sell on Bandcamp because it makes you a lot more money than actual streaming does at this point in time. It says Bandcamp is an online music store and community platform where fans can discover, support, and connect with artists. It's a great place to sell beats and other music products online. Stands out from the artist first for its artist first revenue model. And then it just gives the breakdown. To me, I don't think that that's a good platform for selling beats. It's more of a platform for putting up your own music, for people to support it. I mean, maybe people have sold beats on there, but to me, that's probably not the best one for that. It's great for, pre-releasing certain music and really just having an artist catalog that, like I said, people can pay to support you and you'll make actual dollars instead of cents. So I don't know. Research that more. To me, that's not really a beat selling platform. It's more of a put up your own music and your own releases platform. More of like what streaming is. But if somebody can do that, and or maybe someone has already done it and had success, more power to you. But Bandcamp is great though. Don't get me wrong. Number 7 is TrackTrain, which I've also heard of before. TrackTrain is a great website to sell beats if you're a serious producer. Free users get 0 commission fees on their first 15 MP3 uploads with no additional hidden charges in your beat sales. Once you sign up, you can create your profile and upload your tracks. There are plenty of customization options that give you a lot of flexibility. For example, you can split sales with co-producers, offer free downloads in exchange for social media follows or email opt-ins, schedule releases for later dates, etc. And there are a bunch of marketing tools that can help you create more exposure, like promotions, discounts, ads, etc. Again, these are all things that other platforms like BeatStars can also do. So it's not like it's exclusive to TrackTrain, but I think it's cool that it mentions it just so you know the capabilities. Worth mentioning as well, when it said BeatStars doesn't take any commission, that's true. But you know who does take a percentage? The payment platforms such as Stripe and PayPal. Worth mentioning, because if you get in there and you start selling stuff and you're like, why did I lose 10%? It's because of PayPal. It's not necessarily BeatStars doing that, but they partner with these certain platforms to process payments, and then they're going to take a percentage. I don't even know if Stripe does take a huge percentage. If they do, it's very small. PayPal always takes a percentage. It's usually 5 to 10% every single time, never misses. And this is why when I sell beats on my own, I usually don't tell people about PayPal. I make it like the last option, because if I do Cash App or Stripe is pretty good. Anything else besides PayPal, I'll get to keep pretty much all of what I'm getting paid. But yeah, if people use PayPal, regardless of what you're on, they take that percentage. That's just how they run their business. I can't knock it, whatever. But that's worth mentioning. If you're partnering with any payment platform, which you probably will, to be able to process digital payments, just be aware that a lot of them do take a percentage of your money. So, yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. This is why trying to sell on multiple platforms or just sell on your own is a big thing, because you can walk away with a lot more money at the end of the day. Number 8, Audio Draft. Audio Draft is a good place to sell your beats if you're targeting the corporate market. Caters to businesses working on their audio branding. You can set your own prices, but tracks in their music library have fixed prices for exclusive licenses. The music library features hand-picked tracks selected by Audio Draft. Producers earn 70% of revenue from their beats on Audio Draft. This to me sounds more like a sync library or something similar to a sync library, where it's more of you just upload tracks just for this specifically, and then brands and different people can find you and license the music, especially when it says you're targeting corporate market, so you're targeting actual businesses. I've never heard of this, but this does sound kind of intriguing. I might have to look into this. So it's not really for selling to artists, it's more for selling to companies. And you know what's great about companies? They have actual money. And you know they do because they are businesses. So if you want to target people that you know have some money and are willing to spend it, it's probably good to go through a middleman like this where you know you'll get paid. If you try to do it all on your own, you might get not necessarily screwed over, but you might kind of get kind of I guess screwed over is the word. I'm trying to trying to figure out a way to say it in a nice way, but like you might lose out on some money if you try to do it all on your own. So this sounds like a good, like I said, middleman to help you get all the money you're deserved in that scenario. But that sounds more like a sync thing, even though they're not calling it that. But yeah, that's interesting. I might have to look into that. Number 9 is SoundD. SoundD is another marketplace for selling beats that are definitely worth checking out. Free users only keep up to 70% of their profits, but you can sign up for a paid plan and keep all the money from your sales. It's not quite as well known as Airbit and BeatStars, so it's a little harder to be discovered on SoundD. But the flip side of that, it's also less competitive, which makes it easier to make sales. There are also advanced features, including the ability to accept cryptocurrencies and offers co-producer support, email, marketing, integration. They also show a picture of this platform. They kind of set it up almost how like Apple Music looks, like the interface of it. So it does look kind of cool. And I guess that's cool. They accept crypto. If you dabble in that, why not? I guess it's kind of weird. A lot of other platforms haven't done that yet. And that might help with the whole fees thing I was just talking about. I don't really know. But yeah, I never heard of that one, but definitely worth looking into. Next up is SoundClick, which I mentioned at the beginning. That's where I started. Still have it somewhere. Google my SoundClick, you might find it. SoundClick is another well-known music marketplace. It's been around for decades. Has a huge library and is the only marketplace to let free users upload an unlimited amount of tracks. However, while the number of tracks you can upload is unlimited, there are data limits to be aware of, and you'll be subject to a 30% fee on all sales and licenses of beats. You can't avoid fees by upgrading to the gold membership for $15 a month. When I used the platform, and this was again like 7 years ago, I don't even think you could really sell it for that much. Like I said, I was selling MP3s for like $2. You know what I mean? I wasn't selling stuff for hundreds of dollars. And I didn't pay for any memberships. So they might have even kind of changed the platforms from when I've been on it. I don't really know. Again, this is why you got to do some research on your own as well and just kind of see what works for you. Number 11, SoundGen, I think it's called SoundGen, is a marketplace where producers can sell hip-hop beats, sound effects, TV and movie scores, songs, albums, and any other type of audio you can think of. It's super easy to use. Just sign up, create your beat store, and upload your audio to the marketplace. Set up your payment gateways, and you're ready to start selling. You can choose your own prices for different licenses and even offer membership subscriptions to your customers. Plus, you also get access to state-of-the-art music player that your customers can use to preview tracks and share their music on social media. Plans start at $10 a month. Sounds pretty basic, but for $10 a month, I guess that's not too shabby. A little bit in between what the normal rate would be. Yeah, I've never heard of that one, so check it out, I guess. And finally, number 12 is SoundCloud, which we've talked about, the evolution of SoundCloud a few weeks ago. I forget which stream that was, but how SoundCloud has kind of evolved from free music to kind of like BeatStars, where they realized that they could do distribution, they could do beat selling, they could do all these other things to expand their brand, charge more money, make more money. SoundCloud is one of the oldest and most popular online platforms for independent music creators since 2007. The platform has been a hub for new and emerging artists to sell their beats online. Creators have the choice to upload their beats for free or upgrade to SoundCloud Pro Unlimited and get access to tons of useful creator tools. SoundCloud uses a fan-powered royalty system, so artists are paid based on the amount of time their dedicated fans spend streaming their beats. Artists must be members of the Pro Unlimited program or repost by SoundCloud to receive royalties. Doesn't sound like you can make a lot there, but you can make a few bucks. Why not? What's it hurt? You know what I mean? So, and I think that's what I mentioned about SoundCloud on the last whatever stream that was where we talked about it, was that it's one of those platforms that maybe you can't rely on it for the full thing, but maybe it's just a nice little thing to have on the side. And I guess it never hurts. So that is that. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all the rest of the article. There's some frequently asked questions. But yeah, that's the Tone Island article. And those were some really great choices right there. I don't think that's all the choices, but that's a lot of the choices that you could go with in 2025 to sell beats online. You're going to have to do more research, like I've been saying. But if you can find the one that works for you based on your preferences, you're going to be able to get up and running and hopefully start making some money as soon as possible. I mean, I didn't make a lot on BeatStars for the first couple years. It took me, like I said, consistently uploading to really start gaining some momentum. And I feel like I still got a long way to go to keep, building my momentum and hopefully making more income. But, like I said at the beginning, to be able to fall asleep, wake up the next day, and I have money from some random person that bought a beat for me somewhere halfway around the world, like, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. So while you're hustling and trying to sell stuff on your own, you can also have that as passive income on the side. So to me, it's a win-win. If you're willing to invest a little bit of money into it or build your own website, whatever, you're going to have to invest no matter what. But if you're willing to do that, you're going to see a pretty good return, sooner than later. So I hope you guys can get up and running and keep me posted on your progress. If you see this video on YouTube, let me know in the comments what were your experience like selling beats. Did this video help at all? Whatever, all that good stuff. And check out the other articles. Like I said, Loop Lib is the other one, and Lander, two great articles, kind of similar. The one is actually really cool. It kind of pairs or squares off Airbit versus BeatStars and kind of gives you the pros and cons of both, because those are the two biggest ones. So check that one out. And then the other one is just how to sell music in 2025. And it gives more tips on how to sell beats to artists specifically. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. We might even do that one of these days, because the science behind that and just kind of the marketing that goes into it is a lot more than just choosing to sell. Choosing to sell and actually selling are pretty different. But like I said, hopefully this gets your whole beat selling thing off the ground, and hopefully it helps. But next week, try to be back again, try to get back on the doing this every week thing. We're going to be talking about Women's Appreciation Month in music, something we've done with Proven Knowledge now this is the 4th year in a row we've been doing it. We've been doing awesome highlights on social media, Spotify playlist, all that good stuff. And I'm going to kind of give you guys some of the backstory of why I decided to start doing that in March. And I'm going to give kind of some of the ways and the organizations and things you can do to help empower women in music and why that's so important. So that's a great topic. I'm definitely excited for that next week. But again, hopefully this helped you guys out. I'm going to try to not have any car issues for a while. So hopefully, like I said, we can keep these things going. But thank you guys again for sticking with me this last couple weeks. And I hope you guys have a safe week. stay safe, stay positive, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on March 25th, so next Tuesday. So have a great one, guys. All right, let's get out of here.